Which Side Podcast is a proud member of the Which Side Media Collective.
This is episode 71.
Here we have Leigh-Chantelle on from Viva La Vegan.
You can check her stuff out at vivalavegan.net. She does podcasts, video podcasts, a whole bunch of Q&As, which are really awesome. Just a ton of content that she creates. So go check her out.
She's definitely active in promoting veganism.
Holy crap, she created a festival by herself.
Yeah,
How many people can say that?
I can.
I definitely can't. What events do we have going on this week?
Fort Collins is still trying to get some donations for End Rape Culture, Fort Collins. They're doing a Legends of the Night screening. So if you can help buy tickets, you can help End Rape Culture in Fort Collins.
Where do they go for that?
Go to tug.com/go/srcsus.
That'll also be posted on our website, whichsidepodcast.com. Click on events.
Yep.
That might be easier. That's a weird website to go to.
It is.
So either have a pen or just remember our site, whichsidepodcast.com. March 18th, 2010. This is a modern one, guys. 6 activists chained themselves to a 20-foot tripod outside of the Environmental Protection Agency in Washington, D.C. to protest mountaintop removal.
I was just talking about mountaintop removal today.
Really?
Yeah,
It's pretty fucked.
I remember going to Kennecott Copper Mine as a kid, and they actually had like models, and they were so proud of it. They're like, "This is what it looked like in 1980.
Yeah.
This is 19." It's like slowly the mountain's just caving in on itself.
Well, to be clear, Kennecott's not mountaintop removal. It's more fucked.
What is it?
So Kennecott is a complete open pit mining. Mountaintop removal is where they just remove the top.
But they're going inside.
But then they go inside. Kennecott.
Yeah, okay.
So Kennecott's worse. Enjoy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Jordan.
Hi, Jeremy.
So you're all the way in Australia.
I am in Brisbane, Australia, so it's like just a bit after 7 a.m. here on Sunday morning.
It's already Sunday there.
That
That's so weird. To me
Always freaks me out.
Yeah. Because it's only two.
Everything's always... Sorry?
Oh, it's only 2 p.m. on Saturday here. That's why it's weird.
Oh. Yeah, we're in the future here.
Yeah. So
everything's going to be okay.
So what advice do you have from the future?
Just take it easy. The sun will still rise in the morning.
That's good to know.
Maybe. That's still yet to be determined.
Well, from where I'm sitting, it did.
We do have the ability to change our own fate.
Yes, exactly. And what have you been doing today?
I've just been running lots of errands. My daughter had dance practice this morning, so that's pretty much it for me.
Vegan breakfast burritos. That's
yeah.
That's all I've done.
All day.
Very eventful today.
So 7 a.m. Did you wake up just for this?
Yes, I'm not a morning person really, so yes.
Well, thank you. I don't wake up that early for this shit.
Yeah.
See, I'm just way more dedicated to this mission then, aren't I?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, you do a ton of content for veganism. Like it's amazing how much you actually do. So what?
I know it's a bit intense sometimes.
Yeah. What's your drive to do so much?
Oh, I guess so many people ask me that, and I'm always unsure of that answer actually. But I think it's just because I have a voice and I'm quite good at the communication sort of aspect of things in various forms. So I'm just trying to use my skills to make the world a better place.
One of the things I noticed is that you do like corporate training videos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
how did you get into that? I've always wondered like how those people like do that. Like, I'll force to be watched an HR video or something. I'm like, what is this?
Well, so that's from my website and business called epicenterequilibrium.com. And that started, I think it was about 2008 when I was speaking at the World Vegan Day event in Melbourne, in Victoria, in Australia. And one of my friends, Ron, he actually was there and he saw one of my talks. I think it was about promoting veganism online, off the top of my head. And he is actually a speaker himself, and he does a lot of corporate sort of gigs and gets paid very well for it. And he said to me, you know what you should be doing? And I said, what? And he said, you should really get into some corporate things. And that was, the seed was planted. And I asked him for some feedback, constructive criticism about things that I could work on and things that he thought were pretty good, but other things I needed to add. And so he did that for me. And I've actually been traveling a lot the past few years, and I put on a festival for a couple of years as well. So that pretty much overtook my life for a while. So now I'm back home in Australia for the next couple of years, I've decided, and I'm just really focusing on that now.
Where were you traveling?
I've been over to your lovely country quite a few times. So I've been to a lot of the states in America too. I think maybe 20 states out of 30. So is it 30 or
50?
I think it's 30. 50. Oh, 50, sorry. So, and yeah, so that's been pretty good. And also went over to Southeast Asia for 6 months and then another 4 months a bit after that. So yeah, it's been good. I've been a bit of a gypsy for a while.
That's just amazing. What's been like the craziest thing being a vegan and having to travel so much?
When I first got to Indonesia in Southeast Asia, I was in Bali and I went to another island called Java, and it was in the middle of a Muslim holiday called Idul Fitri, and which is sort of like Christmas is for us, maybe in the Western world, where you go home to your family, spend time with your family, then you go back from your family. So everyone was coming. I was on the left-hand side of the country, and I was going over to the right side along with every single other person. So it was intense, and I got a little van with 8 other people who didn't speak English. And one of my friends who I met on Facebook, actually, he had organised for me to go on this bus because there was no trains, there was no big buses. They were all booked out because of this holiday. And so I'm on this bus, and people had said, oh, it normally takes 8 hours, but this was coming from Jakarta, which is completely overpopulated and the traffic is atrocious. And Jakarta's bad at the best of times. So we're going from Jakarta into like central Java. And people said, yeah, 8 hours to 10 hours. And then because of the holiday, people were saying, oh, maybe about 12 to 14 hours. It took 20-something hours for me to get to this place. And this was like maybe the first or second week I'd been in Indonesia. So I wasn't sure what was vegan, what wasn't yet. And I was just living off of Oreos for that 20 hours. So I was like completely wired and sugar high. And it was good to see my Facebook friend at the end of it. So that was intense. And the driving overseas, especially in Indonesia, you have the two sides of the traffic, okay? Like you've got the left and the right side. We drive on the left. And, you have 2 lanes in the left-hand side. And people call it the invisible line because most people will drive in the middle of the 2 lanes in the left-hand side. So Luckily I was at the back, had my music to listen to, and I'm pretty good at sleeping on any public transport whatsoever. So I just crashed most of that time. But every now and then I'd wake up and I'd look sort of to the side, and then I'd just quickly close my eyes because we were either going really fast or just stop, start. Yeah, that was a pretty good education and awakening to Indonesian transportation.
So what got you into traveling over there?
I had always wanted to go to Asia, and I'd wanted to travel. I've always liked traveling. We traveled when we were younger a lot as a family, and then I'd finished my second festival, and I wanted to have a bit of a break. And I just decided I was going to try and chill out, take 6 months to go over there. And because I work online, I can still work when I travel. And yeah, that was the sort of plan, and work on a few books I'm in the middle of. But yeah, like within where I was heading on that trip to Central Java, I ended up meeting the Indonesian Vegetarian Society general manager, and she invited me to speak at all these events in Indonesia. So I kept on going back to Indonesia, and then it was just trying to find the time to see everything I wanted to within those 6 months. So I didn't chill out at all, and I was back to doing all the vegan promotion and networking and marketing that I've been doing forever. And but it was good. I met some wonderful people. I had an amazing time, and yeah, it was really cool. And then I just went back there the end of last year as well. I was in the States about May, June, July sort of, and then I went to Cambodia for a month, and then I was back to Indonesia 2 months after that.
What is the animal rights vegan scene like in Indonesia?
It's pretty cool. Like there's places like, say, it's called Yogyakarta, which is Jogja for short, in Central Java in Indonesia. And I have a few friends there who are like really into the animal rights stuff. There's a group called Animal Friends Jogja, and they rescue dogs and animals. They also do a lot about captive whales and any sort of animal rights issues they do. And they also do a lot of education to schools because it's mostly like a Muslim country. A lot of people don't have any respect for dogs whatsoever. So cats, like Muhammad had a cat, so cats are okay. But dogs, people are scared of them, think they're dirty, and they're really not looked after. Plus, they're eaten over there as well. So it's just educating the kids in particular that do some really cool kid stuff. And yeah, check out Animal Friends Jogja, JOGJA.org, I think.
So you said that you do fast. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just going to say there is like a growing sort of movement there. A lot of people, because like from religious aspects, are into, they're vegetarian at least, and they do it mostly because, higher powers told them to do it, but they do sort of get some of it. And so a lot of my talks or things I was doing over there was, what's wrong with dairy? What's wrong with eggs? Why vegetarian isn't enough type things. So a lot of people just aren't aware because that's what their, higher powers told them to do. So that's what they do. So they're okay. But there's a lot of young people that really struggle with having their beliefs accepted by their parents, because a lot of people live with their parents until they're married, and so they have to sort of do whatever their parents tell them. So that's a bit of a hard one, but it is growing, definitely.
So you were saying that you do festivals. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Oh, so I put on 2 all-vegan environmental festivals here in Brisbane. I put one on in 2010 called Green Earth Festival, and one the next year called Green Earth Day. And that started quite a few years ago as well. We have quite a few vegan festivals in Australia. One of my friends, Jessica Bailey, started the Cruelty Free Festival in Sydney, and another friend, Kaz, started the Vegan Festival in Adelaide. Adelaide, and we were in Adelaide, Jess and I, at Kaz's festival, and she's like, you need a festival in Brisbane. And I was in the middle of writing a detox diet book, and I'm like, no, I don't have time. Don't talk to me about it. But they had planted the seed. So in 2009, I think this was about a year before they planted the seed. In 2009, I decided I'd do it, and a lot of the other vegan festivals have the animal liberation or the vegan or vegetarian societies help them, and I just thought the local ones here would help me, but they weren't really on board. So I did all this stuff myself, like setting up a not-for-profit. I did all the marketing and promotion and organizing people, and it was intense. Like, it was really amazing. I was saying to people just recently, if I knew I would have to do it all myself, I wouldn't have done it. And in hindsight, but it was great. I met some amazing people. We had some wonderful volunteers, and most of my close friends are related to that period. And it was marketed to the mainstream. So we had, it wasn't called a vegan festival, but everything had to be vegan. And we had people there who had to sell vegan on the day, whether they were vegan or vegetarian. Normally. And so we had a lot of food stalls. We had booths with different, local not-for-profit groups to grocery stores. We had a speaker's tent from everything to feminism to environmentalism to social justice issues. We had a video tent. We had a main stage as well, where we had a lot of performers and spoken word performers. And then we had a kids zone, which was flat out all day with like face painting and kids entertainment. And we had roving sort of things, and we had an art and a fashion zone, and it was beautiful. And it was in March, so our weather was pretty good then. It had rained the week before, but on the day it was beautiful. And it was pretty magical to see all the hard work and effort you put into something go so well. And then the second one was a bit hard because we had a lot of floods in Brisbane, and our state was declared, 3/4 of the state was declared a disaster zone. So that was really hard to get funding and to get people involved because everyone else was helping all the flood victims and cyclone victims. So that was a really hard one, and that one taught me a lot as well. So when to know when to move on, I guess. So I had a not-for-profit group, Green Earth Group, and that's sort of in the middle of being wrapped up at the moment.
I'm blown away that you just were like, I'm just going to do it, and just like, I can't even imagine how much work that would have taken.
Yeah.
Oh, it took over my life. Like, everything was on hold. Everything was about the festival for 3 years. And it's intense. Like, it's like if you're working on an album or a book or having a baby or something, like, it's like that's your focus forever. And, isn't good for relationships, friendships, family stuff. It's not good for the rest of my life. Like, I put so much time and energy and effort and money into that. And it was a wholly volunteer thing for years and for a lot of other people that helped. So, yeah, there was just a point when one of my friends said to me, you have to do a cost-benefit analysis of this LC. And yeah, he was right.
So
because everyone else was saying, this is around the time when my on-site manager, we didn't have enough money for the second festival. We needed at least $30,000 to put this on, and we just didn't have that the second time. And I was like, oh, I need 20 grand in a week's time, or we have to cancel or do something else. And everyone was saying, just think positive thoughts and let the angels do it and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I've been doing that for 6 months. It's not working. And then my friend Jackson, he's like, you need to do a cost-benefit analysis of this. And he just said it in a, non-threatening, non-judgmental way and, from love. And I just went, oh, my God, you're so right. So that was sort of the beginning of me trying to work out what to do with it.
So what is something with the festival that you really wanted to do, but you just no way of making it possible?
Um, well, I think, well, actually, we did achieve the goals. So the goals for me is always to plant seeds of compassion or educate people. And we did that in a non-threatening, non-judgmental way. And so, like, people would walk around and they'd try vegan food, and we'd have, like, it was all eco-related too. So we had all these old signs, or someone had redone their kitchen, so we had all these kitchen boards, and we just write stuff on them, or, facts or quotes or art, and, it was, people would just walk around and they were not, pushed into making decisions. Like, they could learn about things, which I think was really important, because the reason I did this in particular, I guess, was because I'd been to so many vegan and animal rights things, and they all just seem to preach to the converted to me. Mm-hmm. So I find that's just like, I don't know, it's just using your time more effectively, which I don't think is a very effective tactic. So my focus was the mainstream, and we got a heap of mainstream there. And I guess, though, the second one, it was just getting people, I think, not only to be inspired to be active, but to continue their motivation. So that's still something I struggle with a lot of people, because people need to help out a lot, and I find in this digital era that people just think talking about or knowing about something is enough. Like, they think that's all they have to do about an issue or a topic. Like, just so many people think if they post about something on Facebook or comment on something, that's enough. But we really need more people to get out and be volunteers, or, even just to hand out some brochures on the street every, an hour a month or an hour a week. That's really cool. Or, but a lot of that, so that was the hardest thing, was to get people involved and to get them to stay involved, and to, even afterwards when we're having smaller events, it's like people to commit to putting on a video night, or to commit to the letter writing night, or to commit to other things. And even if one person or two person comes, you are there every first weekend or something of the month, so that people know that that's going to be there, and the next time that they come, you will be there. So I don't know how to get people to do that. I can't force people to do that. So that's the thing that I still struggle with, because if I plan things, and I'm a good planner and I'm a good organizer, so I write them down, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing this article at this time, or I know I've got this at this time, or I know I've got to do this at this time, and if I've said I'm doing it, then I'm doing it. So I find it hard when a lot of people bail.
Every organizer I've ever talked to has experienced this. I've experienced this. I know Jordan's experienced this, where you'll organize an event and no one will show up. You'll organize a protest, and maybe it's only you and the one or two volunteers you help with actually show up and arrive. And then when you talk to people and they're like, well, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid I'll fail. People are so afraid to get out there and actually do these things. But every organizer I know has had those where, it didn't turn out like they wanted to. But then they'll have like these amazing whole festivals that they did, at the same time. So have you ever had those failures? Like,
well, when we were doing from 2009, mid 2009 till March the next year, that's when we started our promotions. So we were doing a lot of various, and my focus was on, there's so many different people that can be aware of this festival, so we need to market to those different people. So we had a Princess and Pirates dress up day for the kids for a few times, so that was specifically for children to come. We had nutritional nights. We showed Zeitgeist and Michael Greger's nutrition facts videos that he does. We had a bake off. We had all these different things that we could market to different people, and we had like the art, fashion, and video competitions that we could market to the younger sort of student type people, and then we had music and stuff. So yeah, there was sometimes, like some of the kids ones, we had one or two people come, and it's really disheartening when you put so much effort into that. But for me, it's you just have to keep going. It's just if you know where. I guess for me, I can see the bigger picture. Like I'm very good at the little details, but the big picture is always the goal. So it's just like a stepping stone. And I really just don't get disheartened easily either. So yeah, just sort of keep at it. And it's just, I think also it's just doing the best you can do within whatever skills you have. I think that's really important because people, not everyone's set out for protesting. Protesting is not my thing at all. And, a lot of people just think there's only one thing that they can do, whereas I think we need to, instead of fighting against each other and saying, no, you should be doing this or you should be doing that or you're not a real vegan or you should care about this more. It's like, okay, what can you bring to the table and how can you make the world a better place by doing whatever you love?
It took me years to realize protesting wasn't my thing, like really.
Yeah.
It was always disheartening to myself. Like I never felt like I was actually accomplishing anything. Excuse me. Not that I won't go to a protest now, but it's different. I don't know if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. There's certain issues that like people need to be, and they need to be in the numbers, and I think that's important. But the weekly demonstrations, I just can't do.
Yeah, that's a really big thing to commit to, isn't it? Like I know lots of people that have done sort of things like that in the past, and it's intense to not get anywhere or be the only person that's there when it happens.
Yeah, it's I never, like, the most disheartening I ever felt is we were in the middle of a fur campaign against a local fur store here, and we were trying to have somebody there every hour they were open. So for every minute they were open, we had a protester out there, and there was times that you'd be the only one for 4 hours in the rain, just standing there alone holding a poster, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
When was that, years ago?
That would have been 2000, like 14 years ago.
Yeah. That sounds like something Josh has said before. Josh, that was in the Shack 7.
Josh
he
Harper.
said, it wasn't with him, was it?
No, I have done several demonstrations with him, but that wasn't the same campaign, no.
Because I remember he was talking about doing like a similar protest. They'd be there every single day for this protest for like a month or something. He's in the middle of winter, and our winters aren't as bad as your winters either. He was just saying he was the only one for days and weeks, and all these people were meant to help out. Like, that's disheartening.
Yeah, no, Josh is an amazing guy, and and everything, but yeah, it's extremely disheartening when you're just like, you're the only one.
And this, I think this is the thing too, because when you first become vegan or you meet other vegan people, I'm all for creating a tribe and being around like-minded people. And I think when you meet those people and you create your tribe and you're like, wow, these people care about the same things I do, we're, as committed as each other, and then they say they're going to do something and then you're the only one there. And maybe like on a psychological level, it's like, are we really on the same page? Or maybe it makes you sort of doubt those sort of connections. So
it completely
I think that's
does.
and I think that's where the anger can come in with a lot of people.
Yeah, there's always that competition among activists, whether it's talked about or not, where it's like, I've been to every demo, or I helped do this, and you're not doing this.
I just think about one of the incidents where we had it was also for protest, and maybe 3 people showed up. And then after that, we got like a text message, and everyone's over at the park sledding. And we're just like,
sledding.
Yeah, we're like, what are your priorities if you're not coming out here because it's cold, but you're out sledding? Like,
I thought you said slutting. So I had quite a visual then.
Not quite.
They're about the same.
Sledding.
But yeah, that's
slaying.
priorities.
What I think is ironic is that the protest Jordan's talking about is the same place I was talking about, but probably 10 years later. 10 years later.
Wow.
That's
cool.
But finally,
they're closed.
They're closed.
They're
finally.
closed now. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Great. Yeah. Good work.
I can't take credit.
I can't take credit either. I think she just
Well,
died.
part of whatever happens, no matter how small or how big.
So what is the vegan scene like there for you in Brisbane?
It's pretty good actually. Like, you know, I'm a bit more selective with the people I hang out with now. Like I used to just, oh my God, they're vegan. They must be cool. And hang out with
That's
all
not
these
true.
people. And
Yeah.
you know, you soon realize that's not the case in most people. You know, I remember the first time I was having this conversation with someone, and they were talking about PETA and their naked demonstrations and everything, and I'm just like, "Oh, do you agree with that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, rah rah." They carried on about it, and I said, and we had a bit of a heated discussion, and because I don't really disagree, I don't really agree with some of the tactics that they use, and
I don't either.
Nor do we.
yeah, and then we just had to agree to disagree on that one. And I just remember thinking, oh wow, not everyone, you know, believes the same sort of things within the movement as I do. And that, you know, that was a few years ago, and I remember even thinking back to it, it was really heartbreaking. But you know, and I'm not really into the social aspects anymore. So a lot of people, there's a lot of groups that primarily just meet every month or have lunches and dinners and stuff like that, which it was fine years ago before I knew a lot of people, or when, you know, when you're first vegan, I think those things are really helpful, and, you know, to create your tribe. But now I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't really do it for me anymore. And you know, within a lot of movements, there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of divisiveness and fighting amongst groups. So, you know, you've got all the more social people, and you've got the people that go out and do more undercover stuff, or, you know, protests and things like that. Like a lot of animal liberation in particular, and in across Australia and all the different states, they do amazing work. But yeah, we have a lot more vegan restaurants. We have a lot more vegetarian restaurants. Since I've come home, actually, we've down the Gold Coast, which is about 40 minutes from me south. I think they have 5 new vegan or vegetarian restaurants just in the space of like 2 years. So it's quite impressive, and you know, especially the health aspect is very important for a lot of people. So we've got, I don't know about you, but it's quite big at the moment, the no sugar, the paleo, gluten-free stuff. So, you know, you can sort of tag on to some of those at some time. And yeah, I don't know. I think we still have a long way to go, but it's, you know, heading in the right direction.
When you brought up paleo, did you see the new study that came out about paleo diets? It was all about how high animal protein causes an increased risk of cancer, and so it was an advisory against the paleo diets because of that. But it was very specific on animal protein.
Was that Michael Pollan or one of those sort of people that wrote it?
Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I saw it.
Someone like that, I read one of their articles, but I'm not sure if it was specifically about cancer. But that's great. You know,
this was in the last week.
This is a scientific study.
It was a scientific study that they just released the findings of. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's really great. I hope. I don't know. Like, people don't seem to believe science, though.
It's so true.
It is true.
I mean, right there it
so
states.
So how do we help that?
Yeah, I don't know, because right there in that same study it states that a high intake of plant-based proteins
is fine. Yeah. It's very specific that it's the animal protein.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a hard one. I know people that are on high animal protein diets, and I've got a background in naturopathy, nutrition, Western herbal medicine, and they don't listen to me. They just, listen to the doctor who knows everything, or the book that is, everyone likes at the moment, or I don't know. I really just don't understand it. I have trouble with that one.
So you just seem like a good person to ask this question. Like, I talk to a lot of people that don't know too much about health, and they don't know too much about nutrition, and they don't understand the difference between like herbal and homeopathic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's your stance on that?
Okay, so when I was at college, homeopathy was part of my course as well. So I had to do a bit on homeopathy, and I really liked the idea. It was so the idea, if people don't know about homeopathy, is like cures like. So if you have, for example, a cold, the symptoms that you have in a cold, like runny nose, watery eyes, if you had something like an onion in when you're not sick, that would produce those same effects. So if you have something like an onion in a small, small, small dose, that would cure the effects that would create. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole idea, and I really liked this idea because it's very holistic. But a lot of it, a lot of it's uses animal products. So there was like scorpion, there was some whale thing, and I asked a few questions about that, and they're like, oh, it's all ethically sourced, rah rah. And I'm like, how do you scrape a whale and that be ethical? Or how do you just get a little bit of a scorpion? So I had a few issues with that. So I do, and also like I don't really agree with like blanket or just fertilizer approach to anything. So I just had something one time which was just you could just buy at the shop, a homeopathic remedy. I can't even remember what it was for, and it really was not good for me. Like it made me get whooping cough again, which I'd had when I was a kid. But if I get specific ones for me, that's fine. And I use arnica. I don't know if you've heard of arnica, but it's really good for bruises or when you hit yourself or like sprain something. So I find arnica is really good, and they're good for like first aid or even instead of vaccinations. But yeah, I don't 100% agree with it, and a lot of people don't even see the real tangible evidence of it either. So you've got that aspect. And what was the other one? Herbs.
Yeah, a lot of people think that it's just like herbal and then homeopathic are the same.
Oh, okay, yeah. So herbs is just I think it's a bit harder in the States to get a lot of herbal sort of concoctions, but here it's pretty easy, and it's just plant-based things from plants, and they're just either some are put in alcohol, so that might be an issue for people that are alcoholics or straight edge or something. But it's just the plants, and the good stuff from plants is put into a herbal concoction, and like one herb that you can have or a combination of herbs can relate to whatever your problem is. But keep in mind, like liquid herbal in particular, that's really good because it goes straight into the bloodstream, but it tastes disgusting. So people aren't realistically going to be having it if you prescribe it to them.
I don't think I've ever heard a sentence where someone said alcoholic and straight edge in the same sentence.
Oh, really? Is that good or bad?
It made me smile.
Good.
So it's my understanding that like homeopathic medicine like pretty much is so diluted that there's nothing left in it. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I'm not sure, like there's a lot of scientific evidence that backs it up or that doesn't. So is it just like an essence or is it just like a vibrational thing? It could be just a vibrational medicine. Yeah, I don't know enough about the science of it to comment on that, but I think if you haven't, I think you need to try things sometimes to understand it. So I've tried, I know, and I'm very sensitive to like cold, anything. Like I'm very sensitive to things, so maybe that's why it works for me and it might not for other people.
So you wrote a book on detoxing?
Yeah, that was quite a while ago. Yeah, it was a 10-day rotational diet for detox, which was encouraged people to do for at least a month. So it's just a lot of people do care about their health and in particular weight loss. So it was just a way to get people to eat a bit better, and in particular plant-based, obviously. So a lot of people come to my site that aren't vegan because of that.
So what advice would you give to someone like me who is vegan? I eat pretty healthy, but I also will indulge in, a little too much vegan ice cream, or maybe sometimes a little too much vegan cheese. Like, really, what's kind of advice would you give to someone like me, who, compared to the average American, is eats way healthier, but it's not optimal?
Yeah, well, I guess if you think about produce versus packaging, I think that's the easiest way to answer that question. Like, if most of what you are consuming is just from the ground, or something you've bought, that's like quinoa or rice or fruit and veggies, stuff like that, and it's not in a package that you have to buy at a vegan grocery store or something. Like, if you just think of the basic staple diets that so many generations of people have lived on, like, rice and beans, that's a staple for so many diets. And, you just make it easy on yourself, I think, and just sort of, try and get as many different colors in your diet. Like, fruit and veg is so many different types. Have different colors and try different things, because I think if you're used to having the same thing over and over, then that's when you do start craving the, cheese stuff more, or the fake meats, and it's really easy to buy those things now. And I know 17 years ago when I first became vegan, you didn't have those options. And I'm a sucker for vegan cake. Like, whenever I see vegan cake, I have to have it. And, 17, which is really bad, because it's everywhere now. Like, all the places that you can go to eat, 80% of those will have vegan cake. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, but now I'm sort of focusing on the better ones. But it's really hard, because it is, like, it's amazing, and thanks universe for the vegan scene becoming more mainstream, or there's more alternatives for us. But also, you don't need to be consuming cheese or fake meats that cost $10 plus a packet. And I also think on that aspect, it does make veganism seem elitist, and that not everyone can achieve it. So I just try to bring things back to the basics all the time. But yeah, just, balanced diet, lots of water, exercise daily, get some sun, get out into nature, be happy.
I like you. You're easy with that.
Thank you. Don't confuse people. That's where it gets hard.
I think it's great that it's gotten so mainstream, even for like just the health aspect, because when they had the option of a vegan cake at your local grocery store, you would just buy it because it was there and you had to buy it.
Yeah.
But now that you have, like, here in Utah, we have 2 vegan bakeries. Now I know that I can just buy a cake whenever I need it.
So then you don't.
So I don't buy it.
Yeah, that's good. I just did a 28-day no sugar, actually, and I was in Melbourne and Sydney, and my friend Jess just opened a cruelty-free shop in its grocery store online, actually, and it's been going for 14 years. She's got one in Sydney, and she just opened one in Melbourne, and there's so many temptations there. So I was very good, but I had deep fried ice cream when I got to Sydney.
28 days no sugar?
Yeah, it was quite. I've done 3 weeks before, but yeah, this was a good challenge. I like to challenge myself with health things.
What was your typical meal plan during that time?
So I have, it's pretty much the same as what I have normally, but just not cakes and biscuits and chocolate. But I normally start the day with chia pudding. So I make that with brown rice milk, and chia seeds and some frozen berries. And then I have a lot of smoothies throughout the day. So I make my own brown rice and quinoa milk, and I put bananas, blueberries, kale, spinach in that. And then I just have whatever I've made. Like, I can sometimes have for lunch, like for leftovers, or dinner, And so, like, I like quinoa and rice stir fries or curries or that sort of stuff. And because I was interstate a bit, I was going out to dinner, so it was just, no, you don't need that cake. No, don't order that cake. So,
I always
but
have
yeah,
a hard time
was
like being, I'm so restrictive already. I have a hard
yeah.
time being a little more restrictive sometimes.
I know it is a hard one. I agree with that. Like my whole thing with veganism, make it easy for people. And when you say, oh, because I don't really have much gluten either, so it's like, oh no, I'm not having gluten, I'm not having sugar, and you just see some people just look at you and they're just like, that's just crazy. So, I always say to people, that's not a vegan thing. Like and our sugar in Australia is vegan too. So. We don't have the same problems that you do over there with that, but I just have to make it easy for people sometimes. Try not to freak them out too much.
So 17 years, like what brought you to veganism?
So I became vegetarian first, and that was when I was in year 10 at school. And my family, we always used to have a leg of lamb roast every Saturday. And my sister and I liked a particular piece, and we'd used to like fight over who would get this piece. And one day I asked my mum what it was, because I knew it was a leg of lamb, because that was literally what it was called. And I said, "Oh, what's that bit?" And she said, "Oh, it's the Achilles tendon." And I looked down at mine, and I looked at that, and I just made that connection consciously between life and death. And then I just went, oh, no, no, no. So I stopped eating like red meat, and then we went on a camp a few months later, city kids going to the country and looking after the animals, and we looked after chickens, and then I didn't eat chicken flesh after that. And then I was just eating like calamari or fishes. And then after school, like the beginning of 97, I found out a bit more about what was wrong with dairy, what was wrong with eggs, because I went vegetarian because I didn't want to kill any animals or harm them. And, that was against what I stood for. But then I realized the dairy and the egg industry is probably worse than the death, or the torture that they go through all the time. So I just went, oh no, I don't want a part of that. So yeah, and ice cream and chocolate was pretty hard to give up then, but it was worth it. And now there's way too many choices. But yeah, so I just, as soon as I found out about the dairy and egg industry, I just went, yep, that's what I need to do. And then, it's just a gradual process for me. So that was over 2 years.
How was your family with you making your change?
Oh, they thought it was a phase, definitely, when I was at school. And, also, I had no idea what a vegan was, really. I just knew what a vegetarian was. And even in our home economics class, there was like a little tiny paragraph of what a vegan was. And it just said, oh, they don't eat anything from animals. And a few of my friends were like, oh, that might be you one day. And I'm like, no, that's too restrictive. And but they, I think they are supportive now. They don't understand it. Like my mum always says about, they don't, it's not about the animals. Like they get the health aspects of it and maybe somewhat the environmental stuff, but yeah, they don't really understand the animal stuff.
Do they still
think it's my whole thing?
Do they still think it's a phase for you?
No, I think they've realized that's a lifelong lifestyle now.
I remember after I was 18, so I hadn't eaten meat in over 7 years, and I was driving with my mom in the car, and she's like, "This vegan thing, it's not a phase, is it?"
And you're like, no, Mom.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite experiences, because it's just like,
yeah,
you finally see it click in her head, like, oh, this is permanent, like,
yeah,
this is never going to change. So
yeah, it's cool.
I think all parents kind of go through that.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
I have one sister. Yeah, she's younger than me, 2 years younger, and she just had a baby boy, actually. So I'm an auntie.
Is she following in your footsteps at all?
She's vegetarian, so that's good, at least. It's a good starting point, but she goes back and forth. She understands it. She gets gets it, as does her partner Ben. But I don't know. Then sometimes not committed to certain things. So
It always seems like family is the hardest to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're the closest with them, and it's
And we were kind of talking about it. Sometimes I think it's like an outside person has to be the person that breaks them, as opposed to someone you're so close to.
Yeah, definitely. And my dad had cancer recently, and he was on a, pretty much vegan diet with a lot of juicing and meditation and that a few years back. And, that was really cool that he did all that stuff. But then, I had to not make judgments on other things that he would choose to do. So, their life and their health just has nothing to do with me. And as much as it, hurts me that, they abuse and kill, or they're part of that process for our animal friends, like I just have to let go of it. And it's just like, and that was good for me once you let go of expectations of people.
So you mentioned that he was meditating. Do you meditate?
Oh, I would love to. My head spins all the time. I just have all this stuff just whirring around, especially when I try to go to sleep. So I would love to. I just don't have the patience, and I just don't have that commitment to it at the moment.
I'm the same way. That's why I was asking him, like, what's tips? I need help.
Yeah. Well, a few of my friends do, and they just say, just do it. Like, just start. Doesn't matter. Because I did a philosophy course, a few years back, and that was one of our things. We had to meditate morning and night for 2 minutes. And I remember even 2 minutes was ridiculous. And some of my friends who are like initiates of Supreme Master Ching Hai, they have to do 5 hours a day or something silly. So, that to me seems just so unachievable. But like my good friend Renata, she said you just do it. Every day you just do it, and you do as much as you can, and you know how you get those thoughts that come into your head that you focus on, you just accept them and you let them go. That's the trick, supposedly. Yeah. It hasn't worked for me. Maybe. But Dad actually went on that Vipassana, a 10-day meditation thing, and he got a lot out of it. So that's really good. I'd love to do that one day, just as a challenge for myself, because I'd find it really hard. Like I like write a lot, like whether it's articles or poetry or lyrics or whatever, like I write down all the time, and I read as well. So I would find that a really big challenge to not be able to read or write and to be silent. I can be silent for 10 days, that's fine, but to not do anything else.
That would be insane.
So but such a challenge to yourself. I do like a good challenge.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you sound like you love to challenge yourself. What's been like the biggest challenge you forced yourself through?
Oh, well, the festival would have been, to be honest. It was, the second one in particular was very hard to get through. Yeah, but I did.
So you said that you had some friends that were followers of Supreme Master Ching Hai. Is that the Loving Cup?
Mm-hmm.
Person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was.
Yeah,
you didn't? Okay, yeah. So she has her. It started off. Look, I only know bits and pieces through some of my friends and initiates, but I remember years ago, I was interviewed with them, and they were more on the meditation side of things. So it was a sound and light meditation. And then somewhere along the line, she started into promoting, because it was only vegetarian as well then. And then she's understood the vegan stuff, and then she got onto all the environmental stuff, and now she's got loving huts everywhere. Like there's so many, especially in Asia. When I was there, you just find the local loving hut.
It's super helpful. When I was in Hawaii too, there's about 3 or 4 loving huts that you can just go to on.
Yeah, I knew about the loving huts, but I didn't know much about. I've heard little stories about the origins, but I don't.
Yeah, there's good and bad aspects to it that a lot of people may or may not be aware, but I suggest people look it up if they're unsure.
So dish out the bad. What's the bad?
Well, I think you should Google that. I've had a lot of positive interaction with her and her people, so I definitely wouldn't be saying a bad thing about them, to be honest, because they, you know, a lot of people see it as a cult, and I know a lot of staff weren't paid for their wages when they first started, like it was all volunteer based years ago. But now that has been sorted out. So, and yeah, I think a lot of Western people in particular have issues with someone who calls themselves a master or a supreme master at that. But for Eastern sort of religions, like that's just a normal sort of thing. And they supported me a heap with my festival in regards to money, and I got an award from Master Ching Hai for the work I do for the animals and the planet. And you know, any time I organize an event or help out with other people's events, all of the people from the society will help a great deal, and mostly volunteer. Like they'll bake cakes and give food and just donate it, because that's, you know, most of it's because of what they've been told to do, but you know, they sort of, it's a lot of love from them.
Are you a religious person?
No, I'm not at all. I'm spiritual, like I believe, or pantheist or whatever, like, you know, universe and nature. I respect that, and that's the only thing I see that controls things. But I'm more, I guess, more open now than I used to be. I used to be quite anti-religion, and because I went to a Lutheran high school. Whatever gets people through, I think, and I'm working hard to not be judgmental. So, you know, I'm trying to come from peace, love, and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, love is non-judgment. So I'm trying really hard to be non-judgmental.
So your parents Lutheran then? And you went to a Lutheran high school?
No, it was just the school was the closest to us, to be honest. That's where I went. But my dad was raised Catholic and my mum Protestant, but we don't really practice it. And, you know, one of my friends, he was a drummer in my band at school. He died from cancer when we were really young. Like, I think he was 18. So I sort of was like, yeah, there's no God.
Sorry. No. Both of us were raised extremely religiously and now are fervently anti-theists. So
more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of vegans are, you know, like, as I have a heap of close friends who are atheists and quite judgmental about other people's views, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually had Christmas, not this Christmas that passed, the one before. I was in Surabaya in Java in Indonesia, and I was there with some Buddhist friends and some atheist friends, and it was the best Christmas because no one cared. And we made vegan food, and it was just really cool. Because there's just so many things that are negative about religions, and I just don't understand why people just don't take responsibility for their own life or health or the universe and things like that. I find it hard when people just do things because someone told them to do it. Like I don't think there's that connection or that real taking responsibility.
You did mention that you screen Zeitgeist, so I kind of got a feeling for that.
That's a great. Do you like that? Some people aren't really into it, but that religion.
I like them.
I've never watched it.
Oh, really? You should. It's a bit old now.
I've kind of purposely never watched it.
Yeah.
Because everyone always says you need to watch it, and I'm like, nah.
I like it. I haven't seen. I've seen Addendum, but I haven't seen the third one yet.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a third one. Yeah. That must have happened when I was away. But yeah, the second one I wasn't too fussed with. Yeah. But the first one's amazing. Like, what was it? Money, religion. What was the third one?
Environment, maybe. I want to say something. Money, religion. I can't remember, but I know that it talks about how we can. Or maybe the second one talks about environment. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't know now. That was a while back. Yeah. But yeah, I just remember, like, from, the religion stuff. And I just remember how they related it all to like paganism, and I'm just like, oh my God, everyone needs to see this, or oh my gosh.
I think that's when it clicked with me for sure. I was watching that. It helped click.
And like the way they presented it with the factual sort of stuff and the visual, like I really like that, the way it was presented, you know.
What's your favorite vegan documentary you've seen?
I really loved Forks Over Knives, actually. Like, I really, when I got, one of my friends was doing the PR for it, so I had the non-edited version for a while. So it was amazing. I was so excited because I'm, from my background with my studies, I'm interested in health aspects of veganism. I know lots of people don't care about it, but I just loved it. I think the way they spoke in it, and just I love seeing transformations as well. So, and the fact that their backgrounds, where they'd come from to get to this sort of the mentality. So I really, really like that one. What are some other good ones? I don't like. Earthlings, I watched Earthlings for years. I was like, why do I need to watch this already? I'm already vegan. I don't need to know. But I went to an event I was sponsoring or something. They were showing that, and I'm glad I watched it. Like it was, everyone was so upset with it though. We had people crying and people walking out of the cinema, and it's intense. But that is the vegan maker. That still is. So
I've been in your camp on it. I've seen a couple minutes of it, and I'm good. Yeah,
it's I did learn something from it, so I'm always open to learning new things, and so it was good. But I try to promote positivity and bring positive thoughts and, inspire myself. And I don't think that's inspiring at all. Like, it's amazing what he's done. And, I love the fact that it exists for people that aren't aware. But I just, I'm more for, promote the positive.
I always recommend it to people who aren't aware of the issues. I think it's great for that aspect. My daughter actually chose to watch it when she was 6. I told her she didn't have to, and she's like, no, I really want to watch it. So she watched the whole thing.
At 6?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also, I think, we're in that sort of, I think zeitgeist with the 9/11 stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, we've got all these people that have grown up seeing horrible stuff on TV since 9/11. So do you really think sometimes that it's just overwhelming and people just completely zone off? Like, I know, I love watching like Law and Order and crime and that sort of stuff. And I don't know, that I think we're desensitized to a lot of it.
I don't know about the desensitizing, but I know the best thing I ever did was get rid of like paid TV and things like that. It frees you to do so many more things.
It's true.
And so like I don't know if it's a desensitizing or just a slaving or something.
Yeah. I just meant more like you see gruesome, you see people getting killed on TV now. You see people getting murdered. You hear about this stuff, rapes, murders, all the time. Like, it's just normal.
It unfortunately it does happen. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
But yeah, think of something positive now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite vegan dessert?
What's the Utah scene like? Or Salt Lake City, are you?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
What's really great is, what was it, last year we were ranked the number 1 small city in the U.S. for vegan friendly. I'm wording that way terribly.
I think it was like number 3, and we beat of like overall vegan cities in the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
So it's like a little hidden gem for veganism in a lot of ways. Because we, just having the 2 vegan bakeries is, tells you like what we have. So we have, numerous vegan restaurants, a vegan hot dog cart.
Oh, cool. We've got one here too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
vegan tacos.
Vegan taco cart. Whole bunch. Yeah. So it's growing. exponentially, and I think it's great.
I haven't been to Utah yet, actually. One of my good friends, Peter Young, he used to live there a bit, but yeah, I haven't been there.
You know, if you're visiting, it's in northern Utah, it's only the mountains, but really, if you're going to visit, go to southern Utah. It's way more beautiful.
I think that's where, like, the valley, there's some valley or canyons there that are pretty good.
Yeah, in southern Utah, you have the Moab area, which is all like your Red Rock, Slick Rock area. Then you also have like the Arches, which is all the natural arch formations.
Oh, yeah.
It borders into a couple canyon lands. And then
what about that wave or something? Is that there?
That's on the border between Arizona and Utah, where most people see the wave is in the Arizona side, but it's all that same landscape is all right through there. Yeah.
And that's Utah, Arizona.
Yeah, the Four
Colorado.
Corners area. Yeah, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico.
You can stand in all four at the same time?
Yeah. You can lay in all four.
It depends on which version you want to go with. There's been a couple different what do they call them?
Markers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the official marker, yeah, you can, but the Navajo tribe, which oversees it, says it's not technically accurate.
Oh, cool.
So,
my favorite place in America is Boulder, Colorado.
Really? Why Boulder? Why is Boulder your favorite?
I just love it. It's maybe that sort of college town sort of mentality. Like everyone seems a bit open to things, and it's just a bit laid back maybe, and just everywhere you look there's those gorgeous mountains in the background too, and yeah, it's I don't know, maybe calming for me a bit. I
mean, I'm a little biased, but I gotta say our mountains are better.
Our side of the side of the Rockies are better.
It's the same mountain range. They're just on one side and we're on the other side.
Well, I'm sure I'd love Utah then.
My takeaway from Boulder's always just been Subarus and bikes.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard it's very and I've seen that it, not very multicultural, is it? So few people have issues with that.
Yeah, it's very upper white middle class.
And I'm not being biased. It sounds like I'm just trying to promote Salt Lake, but our we're pretty multicultural in Salt Lake because 60% of Utah's population is Mormon, and so Salt Lake is kind of the opposite, where I'd say
it's 35.
Is it what?
Yeah, 35 of Salt Lake is Mormon now.
Yeah, and so it's decreased, and so everyone kind of bands together that's not Mormon, and it kind of adds that diversity.
And it creates a great, counterculture to the because if you go anywhere else in Utah, it's just white Mormon, like that's just it. Mm-hmm. But Salt Lake, everyone bands together, and it creates more of a unified among everyone else. It's great.
That's good. And so, are you pushing the Mormons out in Salt Lake City, or how come it's decreased?
I don't think you can really push them out.
Yeah, I think most people who are LDS who lived in Salt Lake are either moving out further into a different county. That's where like they have a university in another county, and I think that's where the major focus is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
And I think just the main population is kind of just dying out. Like the Mormons they're getting
old and dying.
Yeah, because
that happens to the best of us.
Well, it looks like we're about up on our hour.
Yeah, that went fast.
How can people connect with you?
Well, I'm across all the social media platforms, so find vivalavegan.net, and also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Google Plus actually is really great at the moment. I'm loving Google Plus. We have like massive interaction on there, and YouTube and iTunes for podcasts. So it's quite a few things.
We'll have to talk to you about Google Plus.
Do you like it, or?
We're not good at it.
It's a hard one for a lot of people, actually, but just persevere, get in there with Google Plus, and I've got almost 20,000 followers on my Google Plus Viva La Vegan page.
We've never,
and
even
I
set
haven't
it
done
up.
anything different than my other social media platforms. It's just I don't know. I think the next 5 years you're going to see a lot of people leaving Facebook. So
yeah. Are they engaged though, or is it an engaged audience?
Yeah, engaged, yeah. Because Facebook, I just don't get that engagement anymore on there because they changed all the algorithm stuff. But
Yeah.
Google Plus, you know, everything that your page posts, if someone's a follower, they will see it at some stage.
Huh.
Whereas Facebook, they just don't anymore.
We better
So
do
it's
that.
good.
We got to get into that. Well,
Yeah, and if you think of the things that Google own or have control over, it's only a matter of time before it takes off, I think.
that just scares
For
the
sure.
shit out of me when I think about everything they own.
Oh, yeah, I know. You had to just link your YouTube through your Google Plus account recently. It caused so many dramas. But yeah, it's all good now.
Well, we end every episode saying "fuck, shit, damn." Would you mind saying it for us this week?
What is it?
We say "fuck, shit, damn."
Damn. Okay, cool. I normally don't swear, so I hope you're very excited about this. Fuck, shit, damn.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
I'm glad we could make you do something you don't normally do.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
And I look forward to interviewing you next.
Yeah.
So we right now we have our Samsung mics, and they kind of block our face. And you said you wanted to record video as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to change it out for a different microphone right now.
Okay, that's cool.
And then
so what? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Let's give us a chance to switch our configuration around.
Okay, cool. Easy. I've just got that call recorder thing.
The call recorder?
Yeah, have you got that? It's a Mac thing.
You know, we record all in Logic Pro.
Okay, we'll talk about that next anyway. But yeah, I'm getting excited to use the call recorder.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
We'll have to hear about that.
Let's change our microphone setups, and we'll call you right back.
Cool. Speak to you then.
All right.
Bye.
That's good. Today you heard
Quantic, Time is the Enemy.
And right now you're listening to
Dean and Britta, Herringbone Tweed.
And as always,
El Comandantes.
which side are you on?
Please remember to go to iTunes and rate and review us.
If your friend's account's still signed in, rate and review us for them.
It's goddamn and subscribe. Do a go subscribe if they're signed in.
Yeah.
That way they get our content. It's free. They're not paying anything. You're not being a dick or a douche or anything. You're giving them awesome free content that they'll be like, "Oh, what's this? This is awesome. Thank you, friend."
Yeah. It's you're doing them a solid, honestly.
Yeah. It's like a virtual fist bump.
Yeah. So virtual fist bump all your friends and strangers that you see with open laptops. You don't get
And
caught.
libraries people are still signed in on.
Yeah, you know, the usual.
The huge.
Also, you can friend us and follow us and like us on social media.
And, you know, we don't have Google Plus set up, but what else? We're there.
I'll probably start working on that soon. Their fucking API, it's a mess.
Goddamn Google.
They're so monopoly about shit.
They're so... Yeah. Would you call it monopoly or an oligarchy?
oligarchy.
Okay. But if you're going to buy stuff on Amazon, please use our link. We get more money. They get less money. If you're not planning on buying from Amazon, then don't. It's pretty fucking simple.
Well, if you see people with open Amazon accounts, you know, you can buy stuff for them on.
It's a ghost purchase.
Just don't do that.
You'd go to their house.
That's being a dick.
That's
maybe.
just straight up theft.
Yeah. Don't do that. We don't recommend that.
But we do recommend go subscribing.
Yeah.
So do that.
Let's go subscribe.
If you go subscribe somebody and send us a screenshot, I'll give you a membership.
Sweet. Do it.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you want a free membership, go subscribe somebody.
For every Go subscription, we'll give you a month membership.
Totally.
Up to a year.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair, too.
Okay. Fuck shit damn, man.
Fuck shit damn.
Which Side is produced by the Which Side Media Collective.